This is Catholic Challenge on the Living Bread Radio Network. 16 teams will test their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Join us on this journey as we navigate our way from BC to AD and everything in between. Today's defenders of the faith will take up their shield and sword to compete for prize money and a chance to move on to the next round of competition. Are you ready for the challenge? Now, here's your host, Michael Roberts.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Michael Roberts. Today we have two teams that will compete, testing their knowledge of the Catholic faith. Each team is playing for their favorite Catholic charity, and whoever wins today will earn $200 for that charity and the opportunity to advance to the next round. Well, today we welcome Judy Berman and Christine Uplinger. They are playing for Ohio Right to Life, and we've got Jan Bryan and Helen DeLong. They are playing for St. Peter's School in Canton. Contestants, welcome. Great to have you with us here. Before we begin our game, though, let's find out how to play. Here's the rules.
In round one, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 10 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, thank you for that. Ohio Right to Life, you will go first. Judy Berman, you are the team captain. Let's play Catholic Challenge. Round 1 begins right now. Question number 1. What does Dominus Vobiscum mean? Praise the Lord, our Father, or the Lord be with you?
The Lord be with you.
Indeed it does. The Lord be with you. Question number 2. The word Catholic means what? Church, holy, or universal?
Universal.
We are a universal church, indeed. Question number 3. Who built the Ark of the Covenant? Moses, Adam, or Joshua? Need an answer from you.
None.
The correct answer is Moses. Moses built the Ark of the Covenant. All right, question number 4. What is the prayer that Jesus taught us to pray? It's also called the Lord's Prayer, the Apostles' Creed, the Our Father, or Hail Mary?
The Our Father.
Indeed, at the Father's command, informed by divine teaching. All right, question number 5. Who took the place of Judas after the crucifixion of Jesus? Thomas, Simon the Cyrene, or Matthias?
Simon.
The correct answer there is Matthias. All right. Ohio Right to Life, at the end of round 1, you have 30 points. We now turn to St. Peter's School in Canton. Jan Bryan, you are the team captain, and round 1 begins for you right now. Who is the oldest person in the Bible? Abraham, Methuselah, or Ezra?
Methuselah.
It is Methuselah. Here's question number 2. Fill in the blank. For where your treasure is, there will your blank be also. Mind, heart, or hope?
Heart.
There will your heart be also. Question number 3. Who authored the most books in the New Testament? Paul, Luke, or John?
Paul.
St. Paul it was. Question number 4. In the Passion narrative, what prisoner was released from captivity instead of Jesus by Pontius Pilate? Bartimaeus, Barabbas, or Justus?
Barabbas.
They released Barabbas instead. And question number 5. What does the Catholic Church call the judgment directly after death? Particular, general, or sanctifying?
Sanctifying.
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer there is particular. All right. At the end of round one for you, St. Peter's, you are at 40 points. Again, Ohio Right to Life, you are at 30 points. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will meet our contestants here for this round. You're listening to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Since 1960, the aim of Walsh University has been to develop students' mind, body, and spirit. That belief has called them to help support Catholic Challenge. Walsh University, a proud sponsor of Catholic Challenge. Find out more at walsh.edu.
Prize money for Catholic Challenge is provided in part by Ziegler Tire, serving the listening area for 97 years and counting, with name brand tires and auto service that you can trust. Find out more at ZieglerTire.com.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. I'm your host, Michael Roberts, and today our competitors are Judy Berman and Christine Uplinger. They are playing for Ohio Right to Life, and we've got Jan Bryan and Helen DeLong. They are playing for St. Peter's School in Canton. So, ladies, it's Ladies' Day here today. Welcome. Great to have you along with us. Judy, I'm going to begin with you, playing for Ohio Right to Life. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm a lifelong Catholic, grew up in Cleveland, but have been here, and I'm very happy we moved to Stark County.
There you go.
Because we don't have the traffic jams. And I go to St. Mary's, Massillon, and that's about it, I guess.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about your partner, Christine. How do you know Christine?
Oh, we've been friends for almost 30 years, believe it or not.
Nice.
And I always make it a habit to only hang around with faithful Catholics. And that's what Chris is.
Wow. Well, there you go, Chris. And where does she go to church? Does she go to your parish?
Yes.
All right. That kind of helps,
Yes.
too. Well, you're playing for Ohio Right to Life, so obviously that's near and dear to both of your hearts. Tell us a little bit about that and why you feel so strongly about Ohio Right to Life.
Well, goodness gracious, if you do not have life, you don't have to worry about any other problems, do you?
Right.
And the greatest abomination that has been put on this world has been abortion. And so the great brave people who've gotten together to fight this, we are part of it with our small donations. We're certainly active in Washington, and when we go for the march and do what we can to speak about life.
Well said. Very, very well said. Well, thank you, Judy, for being here. Christine, you as well. Appreciate you taking the time and playing Catholic Challenge with us here today. We go over to the other side here now to our contestants playing for St. Peter's School in Canton. That's Jan Bryan and Helen DeLong. Jan, you're the team captain. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I am actually a convert, and I came from a small town where there were almost no Catholics, and I came to Canton, and everybody was Catholic. So out of curiosity, I just took instructions, and there was no other way. So
Fantastic. I always like to ask this question when I find someone that is a convert. What is it about our Catholic faith that I guess it enlightens you the most? What do you enjoy most about being a Catholic?
Well, the Eucharist was the original attraction, but I think it's just the ongoing depth and beauty and strength. You know, it's just there's an answer for everything, and you never know it all. So
I love it. Well, you're a parishioner at St. Peter's in Canton, correct? And of course, you're playing for St. Peter's School.
Yes.
You've been there since you became Catholic, I assume.
Yes.
Awesome. So, what makes you want to play for St. Peter's School?
Well, actually, my goddaughter's sons go to St. Peter's School.
Okay.
So
All right. Very nice. Tell us a little about your partner, Helen DeLong. She's sitting there next to you.
Helen and I worked together for many years, and we're since retired, and we've just our lives have just kind of mingled together, and
Nice.
so.
Now, does Helen go to St. Peter's as well?
Helen goes to St. Joseph's in Massillon,
Oh, okay.
which was
All
my
right.
my husband's family's parish.
Okay,
So,
very nice. Well, that's great. It's good to have you both here. Again, you are playing for St. Peter's School in Canton, and so both teams, Ohio Right to Life and St. Peter's School, we thank you for being with us and playing Catholic Challenge with us here today. All right. Well, let's move on to round two, but before we do that, of course, we need to hear the rules.
In round 2, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 15 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There's no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
All right, thank you for that. Ohio Right to Life, you will start, and round 2 begins right now. Question number 1, true or false? St. Paul was one of the original 12 apostles.
False.
Yes, it is false. Question number 2. In the Old Testament, Naaman was advised to plunge into the river Jordan 7 times to be cured of this disease: blindness, epilepsy, or leprosy.
It was leprosy.
It was indeed leprosy. Here's question number 3. This saint is the patron of those serving in the military. She led France to victory over the English while she was still a teenager. She's also known as the Maid of Orleans. St. Barbara, St. Joan of Arc, or St. Therese?
That's St. Joan of Arc.
Indeed, St. Joan of Arc. Question number 4. Where do the cardinals meet to elect the next pope during a conclave? St. John Lateran, St. Mary Major, or the Sistine Chapel?
Sistine Chapel.
And a beautiful chapel it is, the Sistine Chapel. Question number 5. What is the most common name taken by a new pope? John, Gregory, or Paul?
Gregory.
This was a good question. It was John. And if you think about it, how many Johns were there? 23. John the 23rd is where we've left off. I was kind of, that stumped me as well. So, very good. All right. At the end of round 2, you have 90 points, Ohio Right to Life. We turn now to St. Peter's School, and round 2 begins for you right now. True or false? Only a deacon or a priest may proclaim the gospel during Mass.
True.
It is true. Question number 2. Rosaries, relics, medals, crucifixes, and scapulars are all examples of what? Sacraments, sacramentals, or charms?
Sacramentals.
Sacramentals it is. Question number 3. Where are the Eucharistic hosts reserved for adoration and distribution to the sick? The ambo, the altar, or the tabernacle?
Tabernacle.
It is the tabernacle. Question number 4. This feast day is celebrated on June 29th. It commemorates 2 men who were the pillars of the early church. Only one was a pope. James and Jude, Cosmas and Damian, or Peter and Paul?
Peter and Paul.
Saints Peter and Paul. Here's question number 5. What should one do to prepare to make a good confession? Penance, examination of conscience, or acts of charity?
Examination of conscience.
That is correct. And that sound means you got all 5 of those questions right, which means we move on to the we move on now to the bonus question, which is worth 25 points. And here it is. When Jesus died, what was torn in 2 from top to bottom? His cloak, the chief priest's robe, or the inner curtain of the temple?
The inner curtain of the temple.
That is correct, and that is a round 2 sweep for you, St. Peter's School. All right. Well, we are almost ready to move on into round 3. The score, St. Peter's, you have 140. Ohio Right to Life, you have 90. But before we move on to round 3, I'd like to take a moment and thank our generous sponsors. These sponsors have provided all of the prize monies for our program, and we want to give special thanks to them. They include Ziegler Tire, St. Raphael Bookstore, Walsh University, and the Knights of Columbus. These great organizations continue to partner with the Living Bread Radio Network to help all of us learn more about the Catholic faith. So thank you very much to our sponsors. All right, now on to round 3. Let's hear the rules.
In round 3, each team will answer 5 questions. Correct answers are worth 20 points each. Questions are either true, false, or multiple choice. The contestants may confer, but the team captain must answer the question. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. If all 5 questions are answered correctly, the team will be given a chance to answer a bonus question worth 25 points.
Okay, thank you for that. And Ohio Right to Life, you will lead us off, and round 3 starts right now. Question number 1. When Judas and the guards came to the Garden of Gethsemane, by what prearranged sign did Judas identify Jesus in the darkness? A handshake, by a kiss, or 30 pieces of silver?
A kiss.
A kiss it was. Question number 2. In what city was the Apostle Peter residing when he had a vision from God telling him that it was permissible to eat food thought to be unclean? Jerusalem, Damascus, or Joppa?
Damascus.
The correct answer there is Joppa. Question number 3. When Jesus was dying on the cross, the Roman soldiers gambled for something that he owned. What was this item? His sandals, his cloak, or his money?
His cloak.
It was indeed his cloak. They cast lots. Question number 4. This saint is the only English bishop who would not submit to King Henry VIII's demands to divorce his wife so that he could marry Anne Boleyn. For this, he was executed. He shares a feast day with St. Thomas More. Augustine of Canterbury, John Fisher, or Maximus?
John Fisher.
St. John Fisher, yes it is. And here's question number 5. When the priest repeats the words of Christ at the Last Supper, the bread and wine are substantially changed into the true body and blood of Jesus Christ. This part of the Mass is called what? The consecration, the collect, or liturgy of the word?
Consecration.
It is indeed, and it's also called transubstantiation. All right. At the end of round number 3, Ohio Right to Life, you have 170 points. St. Peter's School, you have 140 points. We turn now to you, and round 3 starts right now. How many documents were written during the Second Vatican Council? 12, 16, or 24?
16.
16 it is. Here's question number 2. The third Sunday of Advent is called Gaudete Sunday. On this Sunday, the priest wears a chasuble of what color? Rose, royal blue, or purple?
Rose.
Rose, not pink. Any priest will tell you they don't wear pink, they wear rose. Question number 3. Who said when he met the risen Jesus, "My Lord and my God"? Thomas, James, or Simeon?
Thomas.
Thomas called Didymus, yes indeed. Here's question number 4. Who did Jesus tell that he must be born again? Nicodemus, Peter, or Zacchaeus?
It was Peter.
It was Nicodemus. That's the correct answer there. And here's question number 5 for you. Which gospel was written by a doctor? Luke, John, or Mark?
Luke.
It is indeed Luke. All right. St. Peter's School, at the end of round 3, you have 220 points. Again, Ohio Right to Life, you have 170 points. Hey, it's still anyone's game, and we are going to take another break. But before we do, well, here's your question for our listening audience. True or false? After Jesus died on the cross, there was an earthquake in Jerusalem. True or false? We'll give you the answer after the break. Stay with us. You are listening to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
Catholic Challenge is made possible through the support of the Knights of Columbus. Founded in 1882, the Knights of Columbus protects Catholics and defends the faith. Today, there are over 15,000 councils. Learn more at kfc.org.
St. Raphael Bookstore is a proud financial sponsor of Catholic Challenge, the one-stop shop for defenders of the faith. Their resources are geared toward lifelong and new members of the faith. Online at catholicbook.net.
Local programming heard on Living Bread Radio is brought to you through the generosity of our listeners. To help support the mission of the Living Bread Radio Network and all of our local programming, call us at 888-966-2903 and make a pledge today. No gift is too small, and your pledge may be tax deductible. That's 888-966-2903, or use our safe and secure website at livingbreadradio.com.
And welcome back to Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network. All right, before the break, we left you with a question, true or false? After Jesus died on the cross, there was an earthquake in Jerusalem. The answer, of course, is true, and you can find that in Matthew chapter 27, verse 51. Well, we've got a great game going here. Ohio Right to Life, your score is 170. St. Peter's and Canton, your score is 220. It is now time for the challenge round. It's a little bit different. Here's the rules.
This final round combines knowledge and speed. The first team to ring in may answer the question. If the contestants ring in before the host has finished asking the question, the host will not finish reading the question. If the answer is incorrect, no points are lost, but the other team will have the opportunity to hear the question in its entirety. Correct answers are worth 30 points each. There are 15 questions in the challenge round, and in case of a tie at the end of this round, we will have a tiebreaker question. The team with the most points at the end of this round will be awarded $200 for their organization, and will move on to the next round of competition. And the losing team will be awarded $50 for their organization.
All right, let's do it. Contestants, hands on your buzzers. The challenge round starts right now. Question number 1. How many silver coins did Judas receive? Ohio Right to Life.
30.
That's right. Judas received 30 silver coins for betraying Jesus. Question number 2. A deacon wears this outer garment during Mass. St. Peter's.
Stole.
Well, underneath of the dalmatic, he wears the stole, but the dalmatic is the outer garment that the deacon wears. Question number 3. This tribe of Israel was chosen as the priestly class. St. Peter's.
Levites.
You got it. It was Levites. Question number 4. Isaac had 2 sons, Esau and Jacob. Which son was the firstborn? Ohio Right to Life.
Esau.
That's correct. Question number 5. What were the 3 gifts the wise men gave to Jesus? St. Peter's.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Indeed they did. And the score right now, St. Peter's, you are in the lead with 280 points. Right to Life, you've got 230. Still very close. Here's question number 6. This son of Jacob was sold into slavery by his older... St. Peter.
Joseph.
Joseph, he was sold into slavery by his older brothers. He was led captive into Egypt, and by God's grace became the second in command in Pharaoh's household. His younger brother was Benjamin. Very good. Question number 7. This special hat is worn by a bishop during St. Peter's.
Mitre.
It is. A mitre is worn by a bishop during Mass. It is a pointed hat at the top, and it has 2 short lappets that hang down from the back. Very good. Question number 8. Fill in the missing word. Jesus said, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my
words will not pass away."
Ohio Right to Life. Say that one more time for me.
But my words will not pass away.
Very good. I don't even have to repeat the question. You repeated it for me. Thank you for that. Question number 9. What is the name of the saint that the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to in Lourdes, France? Ohio Right to Life.
Saint Bernadette Soubirous.
Very good. And her feast day is, of course, on February 11th. Question 10. Pilate had a notice fastened to the cross on which Jesus was crucified. St. Peter's.
King of the Jews.
I'm going to re-ask the question to you, right to life. You'll get a chance to answer that. Let me reread the question. Pilate had a notice fastened to the cross on which Jesus was crucified. It said, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." In what 3 languages was it written?
Latin, Greek, and Aramaic.
You got it. That is correct. So your score, St. Peter's, you are in the lead with 340. Right to Life, you have 320. We continue on with our challenge round. Question number 11. This is a gold plate on which the priest places Right to Life.
Paten.
It is. It's a gold plate on which the priest places the host. It is also held under the communicant's chin when they receive communion on the tongue. It is a paten. Question number 12. This is where nuns or consecrated women live. St. Peter.
Convent.
It is a convent. Question number 13. This saint is credited with beginning the devotion to the Rosary. He began an order of preachers to combat the Albigensian heresy. His followers today, Ohio Right to Life.
St. Dominic.
That's right. His followers today wear a white habit. Question 14. These manuscripts were discovered in a cave near the Dead St. Peter's.
Dead Sea Scrolls.
You got it. They were found in a cave in the Dead Sea in 1947. These writings are some of the oldest manuscripts ever discovered. They have been called the greatest biblical discovery of modern times. They are the Dead Sea Scrolls. All right. And finally, here's question number 15. What biblical person was taken prisoner to the island of Patmos? Ohio Right to Life.
St. John the Apostle.
And he wrote the book of Revelation. And there you have it. Wow, is it a close game, but congratulations to Ohio Right to Life with a score of 410. You have moved on to the next round, and you've won $200 for Ohio Right to Life. Thank you to Jan Bryan and Helen DeLong for playing with us. A donation of $50 will be given to St. Peter's School on your behalf. Your final score is 400, so just a 10-point difference in this game. But thanks again for playing and being a part of the Catholic Challenge. Also, special thanks to our sponsors, Ziegler Tire, St. Raphael Bookstore, Walsh University, and the Knights of Columbus, whose generous support provides our prize money. Don't forget, you can go to livingbreadradio.com to follow the Catholic Challenge scores and brackets. You can also listen to an audio archive of this program. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter as well. I'm Michael Roberts, and until next time, do your part and defend the faith. We'll see you next week for another edition of Catholic Challenge here on the Living Bread Radio Network.
This has been another edition of Catholic Challenge, a production of the Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio. If you'd like to be a part of the program, email quiz@livingbreadradio.com. For an audio archive of this show, or to view the current brackets, go to livingbreadradio.com and join us next time for another edition of Catholic Challenge.